but Miku's singing was quite good. I think you can hear me well. Hope the game sounds is okay too. Okay, there we go. I woke up with the hellish ringing inside my head. The ringing seemed to be coming from the depths of my consciousness. But after I came to my senses, I realized that the cause of this ringing is my alarm clock. Obviously. Strange, where did it come from? Why is it standing near my bed? It was 7:30 according to the clock. Olga Dmitrievna had already left, and there was nobody to force me to go to the lineup. Thus, I can sleep a bit more. I closed my eyes, but seemed like my consciousness had already had its coffee and was ready for a long, productive day. I need to get up. I should plan my day out. After all, I need to at least find out something today. But still, nothing came to my head. Fine, I need to wake up completely and wash myself. So I think that I do want the Miku ending, but we have only met Miku like once or twice. So if we don't get the Miku ending, I will show in the last episode of Everlasting Summer, I will show you a picture of Miku and the player, if we don't get that, throughout this playthrough. Because it's a pretty cute picture. But I think we're getting Lena, to be honest. On my way to wash dance, I met Xenia. What got you up so early? Anything wrong with being up early? She looked at me as if I had insulted her. No, nothing, just curious. None of your business. Gosh, Xenia isn't very sympathetic even when she's in a good mood, but today she just looked furious. The cold water perked me up, the fog in my head dissipated, and my thoughts started arranging themselves. Curiously, I started to worry about finding a good place in the canteen more than about finding answers. I bit my tongue. I brushed my teeth and was going to leave when a quiet sound wafted past my ears. It's probably a squirrel or some other animal. I heard another sound, this time a bit farther. I walked 10 meters along the path searching for the source. Nobody, just the morning forest. Hey! Talking about the sunshine! I returned to the wash dance and saw Miku, who was looking for something in the grass. Noticing me, she smiled and jumped up to me. Oh, hello, good morning. I accidentally scattered my tooth powder, just trying to gather it all back up. What is tooth powder? The DV grass didn't seem to be helping matters. Are you sure that's a good idea? Well, why? What else can I do? I don't have any more. It was the last I had. She pouted like a child who had just had her favorite toy taken from her. That is the cutest thing about girls, when they pout. Here, I'll give you mine. I dug into my bag. No tooth powder there. Strange. Did I just put it there? I walked away for just a minute and now it's gone. Listen, it looks like I've forgotten it. I didn't want to tell her that it had just gone missing. Knowing the sensitivity of this girl, it was safe to assume that vanishing household goods would impress her so much that her brain would reset itself in order to avoid overheating. Well, I'll be off. Yeah, cheers. Visit us. I mean, visit me in the music club. I'm still alone there, but I. She is a little bit crazy, so I mean, she says we, but she means I, or her. Just like I sometimes say we, but it's actually just me. Yeah. It's sad, I know. Miku's voice faded in the freshness of the summer morning far behind me. Getting back to the leader's cabin, I took my cell phone and looked at the battery meter. Enough power for a day, maybe even less. Of course it won't help me much in here, but still. Finding a charger in the 80s would mean inventing it. I was going to head for breakfast when somebody knocked the door. It was Lena. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. I was taken aback a bit. The events of the previous day were still fresh in my memory, but I didn't really want to speak about them. You're probably looking for Olga Dmitrievna, aren't you? Well, no. I mean, yes. Lena was her usual self, shy and easily embarrassed. That dance on the pier, now it seemed no more than a dream. She's not here, I'm sorry. Okay then, I'll go. Okay. Well, good talk. When Lena left, I thought that I'd been too cold towards her, so I decided to be nicer on the next encounter. Still, regardless, the morning was shining and beautiful. The bright sun was shining over the space and time displaced pioneer camp Savyanak, warming its residents and filling them with energy to spend the day productively. Or in my case, to waste it in futile efforts to find an explanation for everything happening here. So this is a Russian, kind of like a story-based game where you can get different endings. But why is Miku in a Russian game? Because Miku is more Japanese. There was an unusual large crowd near the canteen. Of course, there was no other place in the camp that pioneers loved as much as the canteen, but why were they all crowding on the porch? I came closer to find out what was going on. You know, this is kind of funny. When it comes to games like this, you only meet some people, and that's it. The whole rest of the camp is just background people. When I was, I wasn't really on a camp. It was more like a okay wave sound. I really appreciate it if you wouldn't make it. But like when I was with school traveling to a camp sort of thing with the school, it was always other schools there, and there was never people I didn't really ever talk to. I think I talked to like everyone, even though I'm very antisocial. It looked like just trying to tell you that when you are on places like this in camps and stuff, you meet more than just these people. But you know, it's not important. It looked like all the camp had gathered at the porch. There were all the familiar girls, Olga Dmitrievna and Electronic. They were having a lively discussion. I drew closer. Ah, Semyon, have you seen Shurik today? No, what's the matter? We haven't been able to find him since early morning. Disappeared in Pioneers? Well, that's something new. But he was with you yesterday. She was talking to Electronic. Yes, he was. So you woke up this morning and he wasn't anywhere to be found? No. Why didn't you come to me immediately? Well, I thought that he got up early and went to wash up or something. Did he mention anything yesterday? If I'm shaking, I'm just freezing right now. I don't know why. I'm actually pretty cold. I think I have a fever. No, definitely not a fever. Just cold, you know, it's winter now. Interjected Slavia. For example, that he was going somewhere, for instance. Nope. What exactly is so horrifying about that? It's only 9 a.m. He might have decided to go for a walk. You don't know Shurik. She looked over at me seriously. Well, no, I don't. But I didn't see anything suspicious in this situation. Okay, let's stop panicking. We'll find him. How could he miss breakfast? Ulyana grinned. Exactly. Time to eat anyway. That was Alisa saying that? Where is she? The Pyrenees proceeded into the canteen. Yet again, I had no choice where to fit in. The only free place was at the table with Alisa and Ulyana. Take a seat. She pointed at the chair next to her. I sat down. Aren't you gonna get your food? Good idea. I hadn't thought about that. Today's breakfast didn't look much different from yesterday's, but it looked more appetizing. Or maybe I was just very hungry. Or maybe I was eager to finish it off as soon as possible to avoid yet another Ulyana prank. Want to go to the beach with us today? When? Right after breakfast. Generally speaking, relaxation was not on my agenda today, but if I was going to spend my time thinking, why should I do it while getting a suntan? Sure, why not? Ah, cool. Why couldn't I decide? She smiled nicely. I bet you're planning another prank. No, not at all. Ulyana waved her hands at me. She sure is. Alisa grinned. She's always like that. No way. I think she's right. Nobody believes me. Ulyana took her tray of dirty dishes and stood up. Enjoy your meal. She has done something with my meal. She's probably spit in it or something. She said in such a way which left no doubt nothing good awaits me today at the beach. At the beach? What about the food? Me and Alisa were left alone. You know, I guess I shouldn't go with you after all. Why is that? Well, I got something to do. And what exactly would that be? She looked in my eyes and I couldn't even find an appropriate excuse. I don't even have a swimsuit. Try mine. Yeah, because nothing screams relaxation like wearing a bikini. You think it will fit me? Give it a try. I don't think it's worth the effort. Don't be a wimp. We'll find, we'll find, we'll find you some swimming trunks. Those words only added to my fear. Wait for me by the canteen. I'll be back soon. Okay. There's nothing wrong with waiting for her, is there? I mean, it's Elisa. Who knows what she is thinking about? Finishing my breakfast, I left the building and sat on the stairs. Pioneers all having their own business hurried past me one by one. No one stopped by me. No one even looked in my direction. It seemed they didn't consider me a stranger, but exactly the opposite. Just another teenager their age. Their comrade, you could say. That's why they should at least look in your direction. I caught myself thinking that that I had started to consider this camp and its inhabitants with not as much caution as I had on the first day. Indeed, Elisa was back in a couple of minutes. Ready? Ready for what? She gave me the trunks, though you hardly could call them trunks. They looked like pink boxers, decorated with butterflies and flowers. Actually, they were boxers. I'm almost afraid to ask, but where did you get these? Too scared to put them on? Well, you know, I have not the slightest intention of doing so. I appreciated her joke, but wasn't going to make myself a laughingstock. Put them on, she said roughly. Why don't you try them on instead of me? I think that the color of this swimsuit would set off your eyes very nicely. Let's make a bet. No, not again. I had no desire to accept her bets. No thanks. Alright, you either go to the beach wearing them or you swim naked. Would you like to see me naked though? Weighing the pros and cons, even the second option seems better than the first. I'm not planning to go anywhere at all. Then I'll tell everyone that you left these trunks in my cabin. Why would I do that? How should I know? She burst into laughter. Oh, there's gonna be like spreading the rumors again, you know? That, wait, if I left them at your place, that means you were in on it. I didn't want to argue with Elisa, so I decided to go to the beach in the end. But not in those flamboyant trunks. Okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Don't be late. She ran off after saying that. I dragged my feet to the leader's cabin to get a towel and to hopefully find something like trunks. Hi. Olga Dimitrievna was waiting for me in the room. Semyon, did you hear anything about Shurik? Same as half an hour ago. I walked to my bed and took a towel. Are you going somewhere? Yes, to the beach. Wait, do you have swimming trunks? You came here without any luggage, as I recall. Strange, that fact didn't seem to surprise her during our first encounter. No? So what will you wear? Good question. What? I don't know. Wait a minute. She walked to the wardrobe and unlocked a drawer. In a moment she had a pair of normal black trunks. Where did she get those? More importantly, why? Someone from the previous session might have forgotten them. I keep thinking about this picture. What is that? Who is that? Who would put up a picture of a white, completely white, statue-looking man that looks like that with his eyes? Someone from the previous session might have forgotten them. Considering all the strange things in this camp, I wasn't really surprising to find men swimming trunks in Olga Dimitrievna's room. Thanks. Patrons were just my size. I got changed behind the cabin and went to the beach. A lot of peonies had already gathered there, but I recognized only Alisa and Ulyana. Come here! I walked over to them and sat on the sand. I see you found something better. I see that my mouse was just randomly at her breasts. She stared at my trunks and smirked. As you can see, come on, let's swim. I don't want to. Maybe later. I was not a fan of swimming. Suit yourself. The girls ran into the water. Why did I come here? Why am I not out looking for answers? Should I care about it now? Soviet look seemed normal. Certainly a lot of strange things have happened to me during these 3.5 days, but not one of them taken separately seemed at all supernatural. Especially since I didn't get any closer to finding so much as a clue. You say not supernatural, but you get on a bus in complete winter, looking like PewDiePie, and then you arrive in some kind of a summery, sunny, not any snow, outside of a camp, and the next day you look like some kind of a dating sim that has like all the hair in front of his eyes, where you can't see the eyes. Well, if you call that not supernatural, I don't know, man. On the contrary, everything that has happened has only confused me more. What alternatives do I have? I won't get any truth from the local residents, though I doubt they even know it. Should I try to leave this place? But how far can I walk, considering that I don't even know where I am? It turns out that my only option is to wait. After some time, the girls came back. Ulyana held something in her hands. It's a crab. Look! I looked up and saw a crayfish. Just a normal crayfish. This angle, right on Alisa's butt, with a crayfish next to it. Good job. Good job, Russia. You're making good dating sims. Or not, it's not really a dating sim, it's more like a story, whatever. Ulyana lay next to me and started to torment it. Leave the poor animal alone. Why? It's just a crayfish. So what? It has the right to live too. I ripped its claws off and asked the cook to boil it for dinner. I asked if we have nothing else to eat. I looked at Elisa. She seemed to be totally uninterested in Ulyana's fun with the poor sea creature. Tell her. What's wrong? It's a crayfish. It deserves it. I mean, I eat meat, but at the same time, I don't really like the fact that we're killing animals to eat the meat, because animals are animals. But I still like meat. But when I eat meat, I never think about, oh, this used to be a cow. I don't think about that. Like bacon, for example. I don't think this used to be a pig. So, I mean, I would leave the crayfish alone, but it's a crayfish. It is food. I mean, depends. But yeah, it looked like the girls missed their lessons on nature in primary school and lacked empathy for the environment. Give it. I snatched a crayfish off Ulyana. Suit yourself. I was a little surprised she didn't resist. I looked into the eyes of the poor animal. They didn't express anything at all, but I thought that if it could speak, it was certainly outraged. Maybe it would even go to the UN Convention of Human Rights. To tell the truth, I wasn't sure that would help. I took the crayfish to the river and set it free. Never mind, I'll catch more. There are plenty of them here, said Ulyana. No doubt about it, I mumbled. Time passed and I was getting sleepy. Oh, no, 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 no. You fell asleep on the beach with Alisa and Ulyana there. Oh, no, no, no. I fell asleep. I don't remember what I was dreaming about, if I was dreaming at all, but I woke up when someone shook my shoulder. Oh! Hi. So, Olga Dmitrievna stood next to me. Did you come to swim too? I asked, still half asleep. No. It's almost time for lunch, and we still can't find Shurik. The leader said standing before me in a wet swimsuit. It's wet, alright. And I want you to look for him. It seems like I'm the only pioneer in this entire camp. I was sincerely outraged. Every time it was getting clear that Olga Dmitrievna considered me, her errand boy, to be used like a slave. Vice versa. I mean, I wouldn't mind being a slave for her. If I came to you, then I want you to help me. Why exactly me? However, after giving it some thought, I decided to agree. After all, my shoulders and back got sunburned while I was sleeping and searching for Shurik would let me get acquainted with unexplored locations of the camp. Okay. It was not exactly right to wander around wearing only swimming trunks, so I should get changed first. 10 minutes later, I stood outside Olga Dmitrievna's cabin, deciding where to go. Ooh! So, I mean, oh, I can go to... Is that Olga and supposed to be me? Because that's one place I could go. I could go to the boathouse. I could go to the bus stop. Let's go to this house. But it's still a stupid idea. If Shurik was hiding anywhere in the camp, he would have been found by now, of course, assuming he wants to be found. So I hardly think I can help them. No, no, you see, no, no. Let's go to the boathouse. I'm not going to go and just stay here. I didn't know that was an option, okay? I'm not staying here. I want to find Shurik. Shurik is a cool guy. And that's not the ending I want. I want to impress this Olga Dmitrievna. Maybe Shurik decided to pick up stones near the water. In the worst case, I'll find his corpse. But I'm sure that it won't end up that way. I was crossing the square when somebody called out to me. Wait! Alisa came up and smiled. I immediately sensed the trap. Where are you going? I am searching for Shurik. Olga Dmitrievna asked me to. And how is it? Exciting? She looked intently into my eyes, and I turned away awkwardly. Not really, but you know a pioneer is missing. Surely you're not freaking out over such a minor thing. What do you mean? Only a few hours have passed. Maybe he just lost track of time while having a walk. That's what I said. Certainly I'd had the same idea, but I wasn't telling her that. Yes, that's true, but who knows what could have happened. Let me help you with it. With what? I got suspicious. With looking for Shurik. Oh, but can I do it? Oh, come on. Wait, can I do it? Oh, but I can do it. Oh, come on. She smiled at me, but there was something malevolent in that smile. Naturally, her smile was cute enough, but it really seemed to me like there was something behind it. Well, if you insist. Since I could not understand what's on her mind, I had no real reason to refuse. But before we go, I have to get one thing from home. Okay, I'll wait for you. You're actually serious about just standing there? Let's go. Okay. We approached Alisa's cabin. It would be just like all other cabins, if not for the Jolly Roger on the door. By the way, Ulyana is my roommate. Okay. We entered the cabin. Look, it's better here. I guess, this is Ulyana's bed because red, and this is Alisa. But yeah, I mean, rock, rock. We entered the cabin. The complete chaos inside really reminded me of my old flat. Though why I thought of it as old. In general, I would imagine a girl's room differently. Snow white sheets, walls, floor and ceiling, shining, spotless. Oh boy, I don't think you've ever been near a girl. Well, when did you consider that the two most exemplary pioneers are living here? We just stood silently for some time. And what did you need to get? Huh? Seems like I interrupted Elisa's thinking. Yeah, it's not here actually. Wait here, I'll be back in a minute. She smiled and ran out. She seems really flaky today. I began to examine the room. She wants me to be in a room, alone, while looking for something, smiling. She's up to something. What is that on the wall there? I don't know what that is. Huh. I wouldn't say that there had been any. I wouldn't say that there had been an explosion. It was just a decent mess. Well, at least by looking at all this mess created in one pioneer session, I can surely say that I'm not the messiest person in the world. The decoration of my apartment took years to be completed. I wasn't thinking about anything in particular, was just looking around the room. Posters of Soviet artists, some books on the shelves, various household items, and then I realized that everything is wrong. Something will happen soon. Something bad. Great music! Why did Alisa leave me here all alone? There was something I had to discover. My gut told me that it's dangerous to stay here. I went to the door and tried to open it. Locked. What a surprise. God damn it, Alisa! How did you manage to quietly lock me in? I don't know what's on her mind, but I need to get out of here. I went to the window, opened it, and climbed out. Now I can go and take care of business, or I chose the second option and waited. What is the reason she had me locked up? I wanted to know what was happening, plus I really wanted to see Elisa's face when she finds her room empty. I hid in the bushes next to the house and waited. After some time, I heard footsteps. Alisa and Olga Dmitrievna came to the house. You'll see everything for yourself. She opened the door and went in. A few seconds later, she ran back out. What? You know, Alisa's face looked as if she just won the mouse catching competition, but at the last moment found out that it's not a real Olympic sport. So he just disappeared? Olga Dmitrievna asked skeptically. I did the right thing by closing the window after myself. Oh no. You know, I understand everything, Dvashevskaya. You and your roommate, every time the same thing. Haven't you had enough yet? But it's true. Really, one story after another. Semyon in your cabin, Semyon harassing you. Why do you keep lying? That's horrible. I didn't do anything. She harassed me. Alisa seemed really upset and, to my surprise, was not trying to argue. On the one hand, it was funny to look at, but on the other, I felt a bit sorry for Dvashevskaya. She deserves it, though. Our leader finally finished scolding her and left. Alisa was mad. She clenched her fist and trembled. Her face was flushed. It seemed to me that she was going to explode. I mean, why are you mad? Why are you so mad? You locking me in and telling Olga that I tried to harass you and you're mad because I'm not there? I sat in the bushes and laughed quietly. However, I was wondering what was on her mind, and I came out of my hiding place, not afraid of being beaten. So what exactly did you want to show the leader? Me? Alisa turned and looked at me with disbelief. After a moment, surprise turned to anger. You, what about me? She calmed down a bit. I wanted to take revenge. For what? Really, what did I do to this girl to warrant revenge? You beat me in cards. And just because I beat you, you were like, I'm gonna tell everyone that you harassed me. What a fantastic reason, no doubt. I see. Maybe I should apologize to you, I asked sarcastically. Screw you. She went into the house, slamming the door. I wasn't angry at Alisa. In the end, I'd expected her to do something like this. Anyway, I got through it without consequences. I was very lucky. Her confusion and embarrassment just made my day. Chuckling, I left Alisa's cabin, which was about to become my death trap. We never got to the boathouse, so why can't I go to the boathouse? Bus stop, I guess. The bus stop seemed to be a fine choice. A strange thought came across me. Perhaps Shurik is in the same situation as me, and so we decided to run away from this camp, maybe by the 410 bus. It could really turn out to be true if it came here by accident too, although the chances of that are quite slim. But you never know. What if the bus would really come? However, I could hardly believe in that. What does this say? Is this Sovianok? Yes, it is. What is that statue? I wonder what the statue is. Oh, it's a guy drinking. Okay. Indeed, I spent a couple of minutes waiting at the bus stop, made sure that there were no signs of Shurik or anyone else here, and headed back to the camp. Somebody rushed out from behind the gates and bumped into me. The impact wasn't strong, so I just staggered. Hey! Miku stood in front of me and rubbed her bruised forehead. Oh, sorry. It's alright, it's my fault. I was going to the music club but got lost and thought about a new song. You know, thinking of the lyrics and music. I hadn't realized how I got here. So you don't have to apologize. Her words per minute rate obviously exceeded the recognition limits of my brain. I made an attempt to retreat promptly. Sure, gotta go, you know. Oh wait, I wanted to leave as usual without having to listen to her, but Miku grabbed my hand. Why would you just leave her? Come on, look at her. She's blushing. She clearly likes me. Her grasp gave me the creeps as I got a clear vision of an agonizing execution by another rap session. Can you help me a little, please? Just a teensy weensy bit. That definitely wasn't on my to-do list today. Well, I'd be glad to, but it's pretty please. Miku looked at me with such puppy dog eyes that my heart started to melt. She totally wasn't going to let go of my hand. And what help exactly do you need? You'll accompany me. I can't manage to compose on my own. I can sing or play. I can't do both at the same time. Even our virtuoso has her weaknesses. Well, you know, I can't really play any instrument. Never mind that. I'll show you everything. Come on, let's go. Oh, but I'm looking for Shurik. But it's Miku. I gotta go with her. On the other hand, I'm not losing anything. However, she dragged me along with her. Probably nothing good would come of this, but the only way to get her off me is to wrestle my hand out of hers. But that wouldn't be very nice. No, that wouldn't be very nice. Nothing bad will happen after all. Probably. but within a minute, we were already standing in the music club. Miki took a guitar. Here, have a look. Was that it? She sat down and started playing. I tried to follow her hands. The tune seemed quite simple. It seemed quite easy to repeat it. Got it? Kind of. Let's try. I took the guitar and started playing. That didn't really work out. Let me show you one more time. She played much better than me. Looking at Miku, I wondered. Of course she was a chatterbox. She was naive and clumsy. However, she was extremely talented in music. It's Miku. She's not really real. She's a hologram. But I mean, in the future, who knows? Maybe a hologram becomes real people. Try again. Whoops. I managed much better the second time. Wow, that's much better. She smiled. It wasn't hard, in fact, just repeat the same notes over and over. Just don't lose track. Start on my command. Okay. Ready? Go. It was a song in Japanese. Miku is Japanese, dude. Frankly speaking, I didn't understood. I didn't understood a single word, but Miku's singing was quite good. In fact, it was outstanding. She put her heart in every note, every word. Yeah, music probably is the very thing for her to dedicate her life to. It seemed like it wasn't her who chose the music, but the music that has chosen her. The last half an hour presented Miku in a completely different light. Oh, thank you. Did you like it? I finally managed it with you. On my own, it's not so good. I either mess up with the words or miss the strings, and it's just perfect with you. Thank you so much. You really have a talent, you know? Just to play like that without any preparation. Nope. It seems I changed my opinion about her too hastily. Thanks for the song. I gotta go. See you. Thanks for. I hate my character here. The rest of her words were left behind the door. Maybe she wanted to thank me in a special way. But I mean, from the picture I have in my mind, that if I don't get it, I'm gonna put it in the last episode. But damn, I leaned on the wall of, at the picture, it seems like my character liked her, so. I leaned on the wall of the club cabin inside. Miku's song was still playing in my mind. I went for lunch with mixed feelings, with a sense of accomplishment and with a realization of time wasted. The canteen was crowded. I couldn't stay unnoticed. Olga Dimitrievna called me. Semyon, come with us. The camp leader, Slavia, and Electronic were sitting at the 4-seat table. I nodded and went to get my food. This time I had to spend several minutes in the quay. Today's menu didn't really differ from the other day's menus. Dishes looked the same at least. When I sat at the table and wished bon appetit to everyone, Olga Dimitrievna said, "So what are you thinking?" "What what?" "We searched for Shurik all around. It's noon and he's nowhere to be found." I took a note of the rhyme but didn't want to point it out. "We looked all over the camp. I went all around the neighboring forest." Olga Dimitrievna looked at me. "And I helped too?" "We must call the police. Maybe we should wait until the evening?" I asked lazily. "Maybe he went home. That can't be. Shurik lives thousands of miles away." "By train? The nearest station?" She paused. "It's far off." Now it was getting interesting. Every time the conversation reached a point concerning ways I could leave Sovyanok, all the camp inhabitants started changing the subject. How far is far? Really far. The camp leader looked at me, indicating with her expression that asking more questions was not advised. "So we should go deeper into the forest. Maybe he got lost. Shurik always takes a compass," chimed in Electronic. "I wonder what else could be found in his magic vest, assuming he has one. If I were to get lost in the forest, a compass would be of no real use." "Police? We should call the police in the evening." "Not right now, at least." "Okay, so you'll do it later?" They were all silent. "We should be able to find him before evening. We still have time. If he actually got lost, we have no time to lose." "We cannot be sure." "Then where is he? Where?" There was some truth to the camp leader's words. Hiding the whole day just like that is suspicious. Why would he do that? Shurik seemed to me to be quite a serious pioneer. Ulyana would have been a better fit for this behavior. So there is good reason to believe that he was gone. Did I stop there? No. All that can be done has already been done. We'll just have to wait. Slavia, Electronic, and Olga Dimitrievna looked at me sorrowfully, but didn't say a word. I finished my... Shut up! I finished my lunch, took the tray back, and left the canteen. This is the first half of the day. What now? The cat was drifting off for an afternoon nap. Only Jenda stared at me through his glasses. Who is Jenda? Of course he was staring somewhere else, but I had a feeling that he was constantly watching me. Oh, that guy. Obviously. I bet he knows where Shurik is hiding. He just can't say anything. The disappearance of the Cybernetics Club's leader made me think. Maybe it's got something to do with my case. Hello. Oh, Pioneer. The nurse stood in front of me. I looked at her curiously. Go and take my place in the infirmary. I have an urgent call. Somebody is injured. Me? Yes, you. Take the keys. Somebody's injured? It's Shurik. It's gotta be. The nurse threw me the keys and ran away. Why me? Isn't there anyone else in this camp? What exactly should I be doing? What if something happens? Okay, what do I do now? I missed my chance to refuse. I stood in front of the door uncertainly. On the one hand, there is nothing to worry about. Spend half an hour or so here, and she'll be back. But what if someone comes for actual help, with a broken leg or a head injury? I begin to worry too much. Like you always do. I hope that there are no injuries more serious than bruises and scratches in this camp. I mean, if this is a dream, I would be happy to just spend it with Miku. Even if it was a dream, kissing Miku in it, why the hell not? But at the same time, I could not shake the idea that in a serious situation I would be absolutely useless. I don't even know how to perform CPR. Have you not learned anything in school? I don't know that either, so... A magazine on the nurse table caught my attention. A good way to relax, I guess. This is labeled Soviet fashion. The publication date or month were absent. However, this was not a surprise. There were much stranger things happening here. I didn't know much about Soviet magazines. Maybe they actually didn't have publication dates on them. Models dressed in old-fashioned clothes stared at me from the glossy pages. I just have an itch in my back. Nowadays, nobody would wear such clothes. I smirked. I wonder if Slavia, for example, considered this fashionable. I can only imagine what would happen if she appeared in my time wearing something like this. Imagine we're walking in hand. I'm wearing my coat with the hood, and she's dressed in a lavish dress covered with lace and things. Why are you thinking about Slavia? Think about Miku. It seems like I'm already imagining Slavia in my world, with me, and not only Slavia. This dress better, this dress better suits Ulyana. This cute sarafan would look good on Alisa. This skirt and cardigan would look nice on Lena. If only they could be real. No, I saw them, heard them, could even touch them. But still, they're here, and I simply don't belong in this place. It's alien to me. I'm just waiting for a chance to get out of here. Waiting because nothing is up to me anymore. I sighed, put my head on the table, and fell asleep. I was awoken by the noise of the door opening. Lena stood at the door. The nurse isn't here? Then I'll come back later. I'm substituting for her. Since I'm responsible for Peony's lives, I should do it with full responsibility. Although, in fact, I was just afraid of something bad happening because of me. Any health complaints? I tried to give Lena the most professional smile I could in order to not to confuse her. Nothing special, just a little headache. Let's do this. Some painkillers, maybe? Of course, I wasn't aware where to find required medicine, so it took me a while to find them. Finally, I handed Metamaisol tablet to Lena. Thanks, she smiled. That was completely unexpected, and I lost touch with reality staring at her. What? Lena turned awkward in an instant. So my game crashed. So, without saving. So I have to go through all that to get to the same part. But I know what kind of choices I did make. So in the next episode, we will see what happens when Lena and I are in the infirmary. I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, the game crashed. So, that is sad. Really. So, my PC, not my PC, my PC didn't crash, but the game crashed, and then my recording program crashed, and I was so scared I might have lost the recording, but I didn't. I mean, it's out. You've just seen it if you have gotten to the ending. But anyway, just here saying that it crashed, and my voice is a little bit. I'm trying to speak loud because my voice in this video was a little bit lower. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. But hopefully I can figure that out the next time. So I'll see you next time.